Nigeria should be a powerhouse in Africa where if even if FIFA says they want just 2 or 3 teams from Africa, we know that okay, Nigeria already has one slot.
Yes.
It's the Nigerian football at the management level is gone from issues of corruption to seriousness. We don't even have a pattern. We have non-existent academies. Can you imagine? Our best players are playing in Ethiopia, South Africa, Zambia, Somalia, and even Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? At this stage, we are bringing out our calculators to say if FIFA takes 3 points from South Africa and Benin Republic has 2 red cards, what will now happen if Super Eagles score? It's as in, at this stage, you should have like at the minimum 21, 22 points.
Okay, really interesting games during the week in the UEFA Champions League, and of course, exciting games to look forward to in the English Premier League and other leagues across Europe this weekend. These and more we'll be discussing today on Sports Unfiltered. Welcome to the show. I am After William Zil, and I have my brother with me in the studio.
Onyani.
You're welcome. Yeah. Even though Man United were not involved in the UEFA Champions League during the week, I'm sure.
You know, I've told you before, Manchester United are like the parable of big masquerades, allowing younger masquerades to perform. You know, we have 3 Champions League titles, but your club, Arsenal, has none. So we are allowing you to compete for it, you know, because if Manchester United actually plays in that in this year's Champions League, the chances of Arsenal winning it will be will drastically reduce. So we are allowing, even though you won't win it, but we want to give you a chance.
Okay, if you say so. Quickly, let's quickly look at some of the major upsets that we saw during the Champions League games this week. Let's start with the Liverpool game. Big win for Galatasaray, even though I called that result on Monday.
I was surprised at Klopp's, Arne Slot's team.
Okay.
When I saw Salah on the bench and Frimpong playing at the right side of attack, I was flabbergasted.
Yeah.
I felt he underrated Galatasaray.
Okay.
Even I underrated Galatasaray too.
Yes.
So and I felt that was what he did, or maybe he was just trying to give Salah a rest. But I know he had
the Chelsea game.
Yes, he had the Chelsea game in mind.
Yes.
So I felt ideally should have played Frimpong in the natural position and then move Fleury. He can play as a right-sided attacker.
Yes.
And then allowing the midfield trio that won him the league last season, consisting of Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, and McAllister, to actually dominate that midfield. It could have been a different game. But kudos to Osimhen. You know, I underrated Osimhen, even though he was top 10. He is top 10 strikers in the world right now. But I underrated him, and then he made me eat my word.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to say that.
Fantastic performance from Victor Osimhen and Galatasaray. In fact, he was awarded the man of the match for that particular,
deservedly so.
Yes, for that particular game. He's back now from the injury, and he has been doing very well so far. Other results that we saw during the week, Real Madrid, very comfortable 5-0 victory over the new boys in the Champions League.
Yeah, so basically, I think Real Madrid had class.
Yes.
Real Madrid had the flair. Real Madrid had the quality to have beaten
Kariat
Amalfi.
Yes.
Yeah. So the thing was that the goals that were considered by the Kariat Amalfi team were very cheap. The first goal was a needless penalty.
Yeah.
The second one was an aimless clearance from Thibaut Courtois.
Yeah.
And then the third one was just I think the first quality goal that they had. What happened was that Kariat Amalfi overrated themselves. I think because by halftime it was just 1 goal, and they were beginning to get comfortable on the ball.
Yeah.
They abandoned their rest defense, and then that allowed Real Madrid to continue to attack them. Ideally, they shouldn't have lost that game by more than 2-3 goals because Madrid were not really serious about attacking and dominating them.
Yeah.
But they came out, they wanted to prove a point, they wanted to even shock Real Madrid. And what happens now is that they don't have a -5 goal difference added to what they had in the first game, and it will be harder for them now to make the knockout stage.
Yes, even though Kylian Mbappe missed a lot of chances in
He
that
still
game,
had the hat
yeah,
trick,
yes,
yeah,
it could have been
and
worse than 5-0.
was the Champions League Player of the Week.
Yes, it could have been worse than 5-0 for them. So Bayern Munich, of course, ran a very normal 5-1 defeat. They defeated Pafos FC, of course. Another big game I would quickly want us to look at is the Chelsea Benfica game. Chelsea have
Yeah,
gotten red cards in 3 straight games,
yeah. I
two
think
in the
four
league.
games in the last 4 red cards in the
Yeah,
last 5 games,
yes,
thereabouts.
yeah. Okay, they got a red card against United. They got
Yes,
another against Brighton, and then
yes,
against Benfica back to back.
yes.
And they are yet to win for some period now. They lost to Bayern, lost to United,
Then they
lost to
won in the
Brighton,
EFL Cup.
won in
Yeah,
the EFL Cup, and then lost
yeah.
again and beat Benfica
Benfica.
finally. Should Maresca be worried at this
Yes, he
point?
should be worried because the only reason he wasn't made to pay for the last red card was because the game had already ended.
Yes,
That
yes.
was a 96th minute red card.
Mm.
So there was nothing much Benfica could have done. The disciplinary record is very poor, and I think he has to sit with his players and talk to them, because if he does get a red card against Liverpool, then he's dead.
Be a
The
bloodbath,
scoreline
yes.
would not even be close.
To be a bloodbath,
Because Liverpool would want to go into the
international
yeah,
break.
yes,
on
with
a high,
back-to-back
of course.
wins. Yes,
on a
yes,
high.
yes.
But okay, back-to-back wins, no, because they lost to Crystal Palace.
Okay, yeah, okay,
Yes,
yes. The
lost to
international break is
Galatasaray,
just next week. Yes,
of course,
okay. It's
and
after
so-
the international break they play Man United.
Yes,
Yes,
so
yes.
they need to beat Chelsea before they go on that break.
And an interesting fact is that since Arne Slot came to Liverpool, he has always gone into an international break with a victory, and I'm seeing him winning again.
Okay, so before we go into the league games for this weekend, Newcastle, of course, had a comfortable 4-0 victory away to Union Gillois. Union Gillois, of course, first time in the Champions League, first game against PSV. They did very well, but Newcastle was just too good for them. Arsenal beat Olympiacos 2-0. Goals from Bukayo Saka.
Arsenal do not look like a team that concedes goals.
Definitely.
So, and I even have David Raya in my
Fantasy,
EPL Fantasy
yeah,
League
yeah.
and my UCL Fantasy League.
Wow.
It
Okay.
starts for me.
Okay.
My 6 points every match is almost always
guaranteed.
it's almost always guaranteed.
Yeah.
And again, I look at the Newcastle team as the Stoke team of old.
Wow.
Big,
Yeah.
fast players.
Yes.
They don't need technical qualities to defeat you. They wear you down by their sheer physicality.
Yes.
At the end of the day, you end up conceding to them. That's how I see Newcastle United.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing Eddie Howe is doing. He has put Newcastle United back into the limelight of English football.
Walter Made is looking like a good signing, really.
Yes,
Looking
yes,
like
he
a
is.
good bargain
He's
for Newcastle
delivering for
after
them.
losing Alexander
Yeah.
Isak to Liverpool. Quick, let's look at Manchester City.
You know,
Has Guardiola been figured out?
Yes, of course. You know, like I always say, football is an evolving sport.
Yes.
Now, the tactics that worked for you 10 years ago would not necessarily work for you anymore.
Yeah.
Now, I was looking at this some athletes, ancient athletes. Let me call them that. I think it was the 1960s Olympics, and then I was looking at how the high jump athletes used to jump.
Yeah.
It is different from what we have now. So when somebody changed the style and they discover that that's a winning style, everyone changes to it.
Yes.
So now the style Guardiola captured the world with in 2008 has been figured out. So now what you now need is high technical players, and then clubs are beginning to train their players from the academy to become highly technical players.
Yes.
You understand? So if Guardiola wants to play a team like let's say Liverpool, Man City, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Barcelona, or PSG today, he will have to defend like he did against Arsenal because they have better midfielders than he does, and then they have better strikers on the ball. Alan is probably the best finisher in the world, behind Harry Kane, in my opinion. Behind Harry Kane, in my opinion, but Harry Kane can drop back, Mbappe can drop back, Ferran Torres, Lewandowski, you know, these guys can drop back and get on the ball, unlike Haaland. So that extra man in midfield would mean that you dominate possession. That's how football is now.
But this season, especially against Chelsea and maybe even against Arsenal and against Man United, we saw Aland drop back a lot.
Yes, to
Yeah,
defend, not
to join the team
yeah, not to
in
join in
defending.
the
Yes.
build-up play. That's the fundamental difference. You
Okay.
know, coming back to defend is
Mm.
different from coming back to
To join the
to
play
join the
in
build-up play.
yeah, the build up play. Yes.
To attack the spaces between the midfield and the defensive line. You
Yes.
get there, with your back towards the opponent's goal, and
Mm.
then you try to pass it to the channels, and
Yeah.
then rush back into the 18-yard box to get a goal.
Mm.
It's always a very different thing.
Okay.
So when I've noticed that Guardiola has changed when he plays teams that have quality on the ball, he tends to want to drop back and defend compactly.
Okay.
But that has also been his undoing against Arsenal. He should have won that game. He doesn't want to defend fully. If you notice the goal that Martinelli scored, it was from a pass from Eze, Eberechi Eze.
Yes.
If you are leading a team at that point in time and you want to play defensive, then you should play a low block,
Of course.
not
Yeah.
play defensively with a high line.
Yes.
So I think that's another area Guardiola has to build on. But so far so good. He has been showing that he's willing to adapt to get results even on the short run.
Okay. Other games. So Monaco 2, Man City 2. Monaco invested in a lot of players this during the summer transfer window. Paul Pogba, Ansu Fati, and it looks like it's really working for them.
They are still a work in progress.
Yes,
I
it's
think
a work in progress.
I'm giving them.
Really.
I'm watching them. From next season, I'll start having a proper opinion of them.
Okay, quickly, let's touch on the Barcelona PSG game. But before that, Karim Adeyemi had a really good performance for Borussia Dortmund. They beat Athletic Club 4-1, and of course Barcelona versus PSG. Crazy game.
Yeah, of course. I think Karim Adeyemi has been underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the tactics of Borussia Dortmund right now is directed to play to his strengths. His space, yes, his space and his skills.
Yeah.
Now they're able to win the ball up at the defensive third of the opponent, and then they're able to make short passes and then score.
Yeah.
And then they're also able to dominate possession against teams with lesser quality. So it was an easy victory for them. And don't forget that ex-Man United footballer Marcel Sabitzer was the man of the match.
Wow, yeah.
And for Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain, for me, I think it was the game of the week and one of the best games of the group stage so far.
Yeah. Although we have some bigger games coming up.
Yes, we do.
This game was
so far.
Really good, yes.
And it was really disappointing because so many stars from PSG and Rafinha from Barcelona couldn't play. But if you had watched that game, you notice some of the things that Manchester United fans have been saying. The quality in the PSG midfield, the quality in the Barcelona midfield, it was like a direct battle between Pedri and Vitinha.
Yes.
They were playing, they were running, detecting play. It was just so interesting to watch. At the point in time, I was watching the games with a few of my friends, and they kept saying, this game is just about midfield battle. The goalkeepers are not saving. They're not making lots of saves. It's just, but it was very, very intense. You couldn't take your eyes off it. It was a very intense game.
It was like a game of chess at one point in the midfield.
You get the point, yes.
And my question or my thought from that game is the Barcelona high line. It's maybe what would destroy them. The high line.
Yes. Because it has been figured out. Something worked for you last year.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean to work for you this year. And that's one thing I've always loved about Sir Alex Ferguson. He was always ready to change change his tactics, to change his focal points, to just do things that, Sir Alex Ferguson always depended on 2-3 players at a particular time and not a particular tactics. So the highlight that worked for you last season, be rest assured that teams are already watching your videos. Yes, teams are looking at ways to beat it, and that's what happened. The goal Gonzalo Ramos scored from a Rafinha, an Hakimi pass was apt. Like it shows you how to beat the offside trap.
The offside trap
Yes, and
and the eye line,
yeah,
yes.
it looked very easy.
Yeah.
At the point in time, I felt it to have been disallowed until the VAR line showed that it was a good goal.
Okay, quickly, let's look at the table. Remember that for this new phase of the Champions League, the top eight is where the automatic
Yes, to the round of
qualification is.
16.
Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, PSG, Inter, and Arsenal. Inter, Arsenal, and surprisingly, Qarabağ all have maximum 6 points so far.
And the funny thing is that Karabag might not even make the top 24 teams.
At the end of
That's
the
the
day.
funny thing. Yes, that's the funny thing because you need at least 13 points to be guaranteed of
Yes.
playing in the knockout rounds before the round of 16.
Yes.
Yes, you need like 13 points. So I don't see Karabag winning another 2 games and drawing one.
Okay, so Qarabağ trying to pull what I'll call a surprise for me. Man City are also part of the top eight so far. Let's wait. Dortmund is also there. They've drawn one and of course won one. Let's wait and see what the Champions League has to offer on the 21st when they continue again. Now, quickly to the games for this weekend. Let's start with the big one. Liverpool versus Chelsea at Stamford Bridge.
Now, I think both teams are currently going through a bad patch,
Mm.
result-wise, and for Chelsea especially,
Yeah.
their disciplinary record has been abysmal.
Okay.
So, and I think both coaches would want to, and the pressure is more on Chelsea because Liverpool is on top of the table with 15
15
points.
points, yeah.
Chelsea are 7 points behind them
Yes.
at this stage of the season. 7 matches gone, they're already 7 points behind the leaders. Now, what happens if Chelsea loses to Liverpool tomorrow? That means that they will be 10 points
10 points
behind the
behind,
league
yes.
leaders, and it will be very, very tough for them to catch up. So the pressure is on Chelsea to do well, and although their defensive line still looks suspect, and the absence of Kopama and their present disciplinary dilemma is troublesome for me. But Liverpool has also shown this season that they have not been at the top of their game.
Yes.
You have Florian Wirtz that has grossly underperformed. You have players who are not even connecting. You know, it's just like, and then if you look at Liverpool's defensive record, you'll be surprised. On paper, they don't look like conceding. They are as strong as the Arsenal defense on paper, but then they keep letting 2-3 goals every match. They've barely kept consecutive clean sheets this season, and it's very, very, it's very,
Yes,
very funny
it's
for me.
worrisome for Liverpool, and for me, basically, the Chelsea defense is technically not there for this game because I think Tosin is injured, Fofana is not fit yet, Chalobah is suspended, so there is a really big gap in that defense. But Liverpool, like you said, also have been conceding a lot of goals.
Yes.
So I think it's going to be a high-scoring game if João Pedro and the Chelsea attack can get their hearts together. Estevao has looked really good this season. I hope he can step up on Saturday. Pedro Neto is also doing very well for me. But the absence of Kopama in that midfield role may be very, very vital in the game. So
my prediction for that game is either a 1-0 or a 2-1 victory. It could be a 1-0 victory for Chelsea.
Okay.
If they score early and they defend properly. Liverpool might, face a very face an uphill battle when they try to get back in the game. It's very difficult for them to get back in. But if Liverpool score first, I'm seeing a 2-1 victory for them because I do not think that they are presently in the right state of mind to keep clean sheets. And don't forget that their main goalkeeper, Alisson Becker, is currently out.
Will not be available.
Yes, till November. Even though Mamadashvili is also a very good goalkeeper, but if he was that good, he wouldn't be playing second fiddle to Alisson Becker.
Yeah. So I see a high-scoring game. I don't know why. I see a high-scoring game. I think that the Chelsea defense will cave in. They'll concede goals. I think Chelsea would also score because the game is at Stamford Bridge. And maybe my bias comes in here, but I am predicting a 2-2 draw for that game. I need them to draw that game. Or, of course, a Chelsea victory. which will be just perfect because if Liverpool win that game, it almost knocks Chelsea out of the title race.
Of course, they will be 10 points
10
behind
points.
just 8 games
It's
into the
looking it's
season.
looking bleak already.
Yeah,
If they if Liverpool drop points and Arsenal win, then we have a fantastic title race on our hand, if you ask me.
of course. But big one coming from England right now. We've heard reports, credible reports from the Athletic that Radcliffe, that's
Okay.
the head of Ineos Group in
Yes.
charge of the sporting activities in Manchester United, have just declared that even if Amorim loses to Sunderland, they are not going to sack him. They are going to wait till the end of the season before they make a review of his performance to know if they will sack him or not. I think that I think it's a double-edged sword because now you're letting Amorim know that whatever happens, you still have your job, and also the assurances that he has gotten from the management of Manchester United now could be something that would ease his mind and then let the players know that we are stuck with this guy. So it's better for us to,
To start
yes,
performing, yes.
to start performing. And thankfully has welcomed back Tyrell Malaysia back to the team. Tyrell Malaysia was frozen out over the summer because and then we were actively looking for clubs to offload him to,
Yeah.
but we didn't get any because he was injury prone. At a
Okay.
point in time, he was out for more than 500 days. So such a player, clubs would not go. He would fail medicals in most clubs.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I see Manchester United pulling out a surprise victory against Sunderland.
Okay, so you have taken us to the Sunderland Man United game.
Of course.
Sunderland have lost only one game this season. They have been doing very well, but they've had draws. But last week they got a 1-0 victory away at Nottingham Forest. Granit Xhaka is doing very well. Somehow is leading that team, and Sunderland are doing very well. Now, let's quickly look at the Man United game again. The players Amorim released from the squad are doing very well outside of Man United.
I don't think so.
We saw Højlund score for Napoli in the Champions League. Rashford started for Barcelona in the Champions League against PSG, even though they did not win. But I feel Rashford did very well.
The only player that I felt really bad about, that Manchester United let go, was Højlund.
Okay.
Yeah, Højlund was never the Rasmus Højlund was never the problem of Manchester United.
Yeah.
The problem he had is the same problem Benjamin Sesko is having now. Was the same problem people like Anthony Martial and Wout Weghorst had.
Yeah.
The delivery to our strikers is too poor. It's always too poor. They they don't have quality chances that they would that they will attempt to score with.
Yeah.
And then for Marcus Rashford, I think his body language over the last 2 years showed that he didn't want to be at Manchester United. I might be wrong, because obviously Marcus Rashford is also a human being. He might have been giving his all for the Manchester United team, but if you see him tracking back at Barcelona, he's running, making tackles, passing, trying to do everything to make sure the team wins. I didn't see that fight in the last 2 years in Manchester United. So
sometimes I think that players need to leave their comfort zones.
Of course, that's
United became a comfort zone for Marcus Rashford. He's the face of the team. He's the face of the project. I think it became too comfortable.
Yeah.
Going to Barcelona, where you know that you are not the face of the project, if you don't do well, you will drop.
Yeah.
And
the thing is that I was reading an article this morning on Facebook, and on the article you had this photo that they cropped from X, formerly Twitter, where someone was saying that the players in Manchester United got there on merit, and that they are actually good players, even if they are not the best players in the world per their rules or their wings, as we say in Nigeria. They are still world class. They are still world class players. If they are professionals, top class professionals. Let's use that word. They got there by merit. They were good players before they were bought. We had a scouting team. Even though scouts can be wrong at times, and then we had a recruitment teams that also bought them. So I think Amorim has to. The problem is the midfield. So Amorim has to look for a way to fix this problem, because the thing is that you have a Bruno Fernandes who's who is better adapted to playing as a number 10 further up the pitch. Is now playing as a double pivot to Casemiro, who does not
Yeah.
have the legs to move around, and Ugarte, who is not very intelligent on the ball. And then you have a Kobe Meno that plays in slow motion. So the midfield is just too poor. If you look at
2 years ago, Kobe Menu was the rising star.
he was the rising star of a declining Manchester United team. So anybody could have been a rising star in that team.
Okay.
I take you again to the Barcelona or the PSG or the
Barcelona
yeah
game.
yeah. Look at the quality in the midfield.
Yes.
Look at the quality even in Chelsea midfield.
Yeah.
The double pivot of Caicedo and Enzo.
Yes.
It works magic. Caicedo is one of the best midfielders in the world presently. Now, imagine a Caicedo that Manchester United had the opportunity of signing a few years ago for just £2 million.
Yeah.
Imagine a Caicedo playing in Manchester United today. So that's the problem that Manchester United has. But
truthfully, I would agree with you, because if you look at all of the big teams this season, I think United have the worst midfield.
I'm telling you,
If you look at the Arsenal midfield, Odegaard, Declan Rice,
Zubimendi, and then you have a Merino that can come in. You also have an Eze that can also play.
Yes. Another young
get
player
the point.
who can here play.
Look
there.
at the Liverpool team. Look at the Man City
midfield
team.
is studded. Is star-studded. Man City.
The Ballon d'Or winner,
Rodri is
Tijani
there.
Renders. You know, Tijani Renders was named after Tijani Babangida.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So information for us. Kevin De Bruyne seemed to be helping Højlund at Napoli.
You saw
his delivery to Højlund looks better.
It looks better.
Yes,
Højlund now has
somebody to feed him.
Yes, because Højlund is like the striker that plays exactly like Haaland.
Yeah.
They play the same style, the same pattern of football.
They are just there to score goals.
They are poachers, powerful poachers. People who can strike the ball, who are fast, and who can get you goals. But what Højlund found himself doing at Manchester United was that he had to drop down to the midfield. He was playing with his back to the goal, fighting with defenders, some of whom were stronger than he is, and then we were not winning that second balls.
Quick prediction: Man United versus Sunderland at Old Trafford.
2-1 Manchester United, because they do not keep clean sheets.
Okay.
And I think the coach is here to integrate Sene Lamens into the. I don't know why you spend that much money buying a goalkeeper, and then for like 2 weeks now, you've not been playing the goalkeeper.
Okay, so Sunderland versus Man United at Old Trafford. My prediction will be a draw, because Sunderland, for me, have been doing very well, and I want to see them do well. Okay, so Sunderland versus Man United, I'm predicting a draw in that particular game, 2-2 draw. Sunderland versus, but I'm predicting a lot of draws today.
Yeah, but what do you think about the Brentford versus Man City game? Brentford beat Manchester United last week.
We will get to Brentford, Man City, but let's do another game for Saturday. I know you may not want to do this, but let's do it. Arsenal will be hosting West Ham United.
It's the reason I skipped Arsenal.
I understand.
They don't play fair. the dark arts. Arsenal has turned into everything we hated the Mourinho's Chelsea team for.
Yes.
But the difference between the Mourinho's Chelsea and the Arteta's Arsenal is that Arteta does not win. Mourinho wins.
My response to you will be that I think, or I believe, and I think every Arsenal fan thinks like this season, right? Arteta is out of excuses. I keep saying that. Last season, his excuses were that he had major injuries to major players. Bukayo Saka, Odegaard, Kai Havertz all got injured. This season, he has 2 players in every position. For example, Saka got injured, Madueke was there to step in. Now, Madueke is out, Saka is back in his squad. Even without Saka in the squad, you have Nwaneri, you have Max Daumann who can play that position. In midfield, you have Eze, you have Merino, you have Odegaard, who has been injured since, but you did not feel his absence in the squad.
Rice,
Rice is there. In defense, you have too many defenders. In fact,
Mosquera, Nkape, Gabriel, Saliba, Ben White, Calafiori.
In goal, you have Raya and of course Kepa Zabalaga, who cost over 70 million. In attack, you have Gyökeres, you have Kai Havertz, you have Gabriel Jesus. He's out of excuses.
He's still not going to win.
If he does not do it this season, it's time to go.
Well,
now, West Ham have a new manager, and Nuno Espirito Santo will be taking his West Ham team to Emirates Stadium to play Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. Prediction?
I'm predicting a 1 or 2-0 victory for Arsenal because Arsenal do not concede goals.
Okay.
They have a very strong defense. So it will be very hard for Nuno Espirito
and his
Santo,
West Ham squad, yeah.
Yes, and his West Ham squad to beat
Arsenal
or to even score against Arsenal.
Yeah.
And then this brings me to the Nottingham Forest dilemma. They had Nuno Espirito Santo as their coach, and the owner of Nottingham Forest kept getting on the offensive with the coach.
Yeah.
He felt that Nottingham Forest should have been in the Champions League and then fired him.
Okay.
Because he thought Nottingham Forest, a team that just a few years ago were lavishing in the Championship, that he felt they should have won the league. So now he has now hired Ange Postecoglou.
Maranakis, I saw him at the Olympiacos game. He was moaning while Arsenal was winning. I'm sure now if he has interest in the Olympiacos team, for example, if Nottingham Forest had made it to the Champions League, it would have been impossible to have two teams in the same.
No, you can't. The management boards just have to be different.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the rule. The management board of Man City,
what happened to
Arsenal rather?
What happened to Crystal Palace and Lyon?
You have to make them. They have to be independent. Say for example, I own two banks.
Yeah.
I'm the owner of UBA. I'm also the owner of First Bank. And then to ensure that we don't have these issues, we just have to say, okay, the management team for this bank should be different entirely from the management team of this bank. And that's why some corporate workplaces, they have this policy of not having couples or people who are, related be in the same decision-making panel.
Yeah.
So that interests do not clash. So I think there's a way to get past that rule is by having independent and people who would manage both clubs without having to interfere in this one and that one. So that's what I think. So
Arsenal, West Ham United. You said you prayed a 2-0 victory for Arsenal.
Of course.
I am looking at a 3-0 victory. Arsenal 3, West Ham 0. Victor Gyökeres will score.
Well, he can't score, but it wouldn't be up to 3.
Iberichi Eze and Bukayo Saka to also score. That's my prediction for the Arsenal West Ham. Let's quickly go to Manchester City versus Brentford. Brentford have been doing very, very well. I repeat again. In their last 2 games, they've played really big teams. They played Chelsea and they played Man United, and they've picked up 4 points from those 2 games. Now they face Man City on Sunday.
I think they are looking to beat 2 Manchester clubs back to back in their stadium, but they are going to run out of luck this week because Guardiola is reeling from the draw against Monaco. Should have won that game, should have closed that game. He didn't, and he paid the price like he paid against Arsenal.
Yes,
and so I think Guardiola is going to do everything possible to bully Brentford. He would want to get the first 2 goals, and then he's very strong defensively, so it will be very hard to get for Brentford to even get a point against Man City. And like they say, I don't know be Lagos, so Man City no be Man U.
Other games for this weekend, I think Tottenham Hotspur will be taking on Leeds United. That's the first game for the weekend, and Tottenham Hotspur with new manager Thomas Frank seem to have hit another issues with that squad because they were not able to beat Bodo Glimt, they were not able to beat West Ham United, were not able to beat Wolves at the weekend, and it's not looking good for Thomas Frank and the Tottenham squad right now.
But I think this is the season where this is the match day where he gets results. When he came into when he left Brentford for Spurs, and then he almost beat PSG at the UEFA Super Cup final, and they only lost via penalties after PSG equalized 2 late goals, brought game to 2-2. And then his first few games in the league, he was just winning, even beat Man City, and did not consider the Etihad Stadium.
Yeah.
But then I think reality is beginning to set in, and Tottenham are reverting back to what we know them for.
Yeah.
So, but I do think they are going to beat Leeds. They are going to beat Leeds by, I think, 2-1.
All right. So Tottenham to beat Leeds United 2-1. Of course, yeah. I'm predicting a 3-1 victory for Tottenham when they take on Leeds. You have any La Liga games there? For
Of course, week? I think the La Liga game of the week is Sevilla versus Barcelona.
Okay.
Barcelona will be looking at extending their lead at the top of the La Liga standing. You know, they have 19 points. They are leading Real Madrid by just 1 point, and then although the goals difference is massive, but they would want to get as much points as possible. They would want to win before the international break. Yeah. However, Real Madrid is also playing Villarreal, and that's another big game. But I think Alonso has this mentality. He wants to win every. We saw that at Bayern Leverkusen. Yes. He wants to win every game. He knows that if you win the smaller games, most times the bigger games are just a formality. Yes. For example, he was beating Black and Blue by Atletico Madrid, but I think they are still 8 points above Atletico Madrid. Yeah. You understand? So if they are able to win these smaller games per se, the bigger games like the El Clasico will just be a formality. So I see both of them winning. Okay, that's what I think.
Yes, yeah, of course. We are predicting a Real Madrid victory over
a 3-0 victory,
and of course,
and then a 2-1 victory for Barcelona.
A Barcelona victory over Sevilla. Let's quickly, as we begin to round off, let's quickly comment on the Super Eagles of Nigeria. South Africa were deducted 3 points for fielding an ineligible player. Is there hope for Nigeria?
I think, we have to be optimistic, as patriotic Nigerians. Yeah. But if we look at the performance of the Super Eagles, that's been abysmal. We are in a group with Benin Republic and South Africa. We've just won twice. And then we've had, I think, 5 draws. Yes. And then we lost once. Yes. That's too poor. And these are the fundamental issues that we should talk about one of these days. I think we should discuss the decline in Nigeria football. Nigeria should be a powerhouse in Africa where even if FIFA says they want just 2 or 3 teams from Africa, we know that Nigeria already has 1 slot. Yes. It's the Nigerian football at the management level is gone from issues of corruption to seriousness. We don't even have a pattern. We don't like in Italy. You have the Catenaccio pattern of football. Yes. You have the tiki-taka in tiki-taka and La Pausa in Spain. Yes, you have the gegenpressing in Germany. We don't even have a philosophy in football. We don't even group. We have non-existent academies. Yeah. Amas Obasoge, who used to be the goalie for Benin Insurance and was called up by the Super Eagles because of his strong performance, is now playing in Ethiopia. Can you imagine? Our best players are playing in Ethiopia, South Africa, Zambia, Somalia, and even Afghanistan. Yeah. The best striker in Benin Insurance then is now playing in Saudi Arabia. I had so many guys that I grew up playing football with. They are playing in 3rd divisions in Holland. Some of them have gone to Armenia. It's just too sad. We don't have, and Nigeria is blessed with good footballers. Of course. We have a population that loves football. Over 230 million people. And then a vast majority of these people are youthful people who love the sport. And then you have people between the ages of like 9 and 18. In the millions, people should be in the academy. So the problems in Nigeria, they are just too fundamental. And then we have football administrators who are not even thinking about, solving this problem. Look at the top countries in the world. They don't joke with football at the academy level. Look at Brazil. Look at Argentina. Look at Spain, England, Portugal. What Nigeria should do, even if we lack the facilities to groom players who are qualitative, we should have a system where our best players at the young stages are taken abroad for further football training. Yeah. You saw how Lionel Messi moved from Argentina to Spain when he was still very young. Yeah. That's the decision that changed his life and change the story of the Argentina Football Association.
Yeah.
So we don't have such structures. The best players in our league are currently playing in Ethiopia, Zambia, Gambia, South Africa, Somalia, Afghanistan. Man, this is wrong.
Well, it's a very embarrassing
It's a,
situation.
can you imagine? At this stage, we are bringing out our calculators to say if FIFA takes 3 points from South Africa and Benin Republic has 2 red cards, what will now happen if Super Eagles score? It's as in, at this stage, you should have like at the minimum 21, 22 points.
Yes, the Super Eagles have been very poor. When it comes to development of Nigerian football, it's something that we would find a day to really discuss on the show, because we rely on our players who just go abroad.
Yes.
How they get there, we don't care.
Yes.
Once they get there and they score 4-5 goals, they are in the Super Eagles. And then because we have no philosophy.
There's no philosophy
In the way we play. Sometimes when I watch the Super Eagles, I just feel like we just put 11 players and say, go and play.
even if we do that now, look at this scenario. Super Eagles of Nigeria were playing against the Black Stars of Ghana or the Bafana Bafana of South Africa,
Yeah.
or the Pharaohs of Egypt. Now, or let's say we're even playing the Cape Verde national team. We're playing the Beninois, the Togolese, the Ivorians. There should be a mentality that we are not leaving this game without the 3 points because we are bigger.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how I play. And that's something I admire about the Real Madrid team.
Yeah.
They must grind that victory. Yeah. And that's what Liverpool were using, the magical spell they were using at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
They must find that victory. We cannot have 5 draws out of 8 games. Like, what are these guys? Like, what are they thinking? You should be beating Benin Republic like 5 or 6 goals. Respect to the Beninois. Yeah. I'm not disrespecting them. They have qualitative players too. Yeah. But we have better quality. We have Osimhen. We have Iwobi. We have Bassi. You understand the point? So the problem is just that we have administrators that are not serious about these things. We have coaches that are not serious about these things. And then I don't think these players are playing to satisfy the Nigerian population anymore. It's just like when our musical stars started doing music that pleased the rest of the world. They started tuning their songs to please the rest of the world. Yeah. Our football players, once they go abroad, they go to Europe, they start earning the big bucks. They forget what it means to wear the jersey
of Nigeria. Yeah.
You understand? They forget what it means to wear the jersey. People like Christian Chukwu, Taribo West, JJ Okocha. Yes, they forget. Yeah. Yes, even Samuel Karaji that died while playing for Nigeria. They forget what it means to be a Nigerian football. Like, there was a video, there was a match we drew against Ghana that kept us out of the last World Cup.
Yes.
Somebody was crying on the pitch now when they invaded the pitch. He said he traveled all the way from Kano State to watch the match in Abuja, only to we performed abysmally. Yes. And they were angry, they trashed the stadium. So what this means is that I think the fans recognize the level that Nigeria should be in, but the players and the administrators do not understand it. Nigeria simply needs to develop a system where players are, groomed from the young ages. And then we should also have the mentality that, okay, Nigeria, for example, we are meeting Morocco, or Nigeria, we are meeting Madagascar. We are bigger than you, so we are going to beat you. It doesn't matter if look at how we went to the Nations Cup final that we unfortunately lost last year. We kept grinding victory, even when we were not playing too well. Yeah. That's the mentality we should have. Even though we did not support the pattern of play, but at least it brought results.
It brought results, and we are not encouraging anybody to trash the stadium when Nigeria does.
No. Of course. That's a criminal attempt. Yes. But it was just to mirror the frustration.
The passion and the frustration.
Yes, mirror the frustration
football,
of the Nigerian.
Football is a unifying.
Yes, of course.
Factor in Nigeria. It's the only time we are able to do away with tribalism and whatever,
of course,
and just unite together. So I think that those in charge. I think that we should start putting square pegs in square holes. What I mean is this: get football people to run football. I think our players play with more passion when play for their club sides
Of
than
course.
when they play for the Super Eagles. So we hope that those in charge, the NFF, can begin to sort these out. Of course, even if we don't get to the World Cup, let's ensure that the Nations Cup, which comes up next year, we're able to do something very good in the Cup of Nations and bring victory to Nigeria again. We have not won the Cup of Nations for a couple of years now. Last time was in 2013.
Sunday Umbago.
Sunday Umbago. I was serving in Abia State. I cannot forget that night. It was one of the best nights of my life as a Nigerian. So we hope that we can see such fantastic results again from the Super Eagles. So that's the show for today. On Monday, we'll be back with a review of all the games that will take place this weekend. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. You can
And
drop your comment and
yeah,
your.
well, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section.
We would love to hear your thoughts on all of the things we have discussed, especially on the way forward for the Super Eagles if we do not get to the World Cup for the second tournament
That's too
running.
bad.
It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. Have a nice
That's
day,
the show
Mr.
for
Ziv.
today. We'll see you again on Monday.
Have a nice day.